Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to talk about employees on intermittent leave. An employee applies for intermittent leave, they're FMLA eligible, the deadline for certification is missed, and leave is denied. The employee then continues to work and a couple of months later applies for intermittent leave again and is ultimately denied for the same reason. The certificate isn't handed in on time. The employee does this every few months and is always denied. How long do we have to keep going through this process with this particular employee? And what if the employee is using this to have 15 days of protected leave every few months while they're waiting for the certificate to arrive? Is this allowed? Well, isn't this a very, very interesting question? So the question is, you've got an employee who has gotten an understanding of a strategy for taking repetitive leave without ever providing a medical certificate and recognizing that they can get 2 weeks off that are protected. Except for this is the question. Why would the leave be protected if they don't provide the medical certificate? So this is going to be a standard operating procedure decision in my mind, because there's nothing in the regulations that are going to speak to this issue. So if the issue is potential fraud, okay, but I don't know how we would get at addressing that particular challenge. What the issue for me more is, why is the leave protected if they never provided a medical certificate? So is it your strategy, your standard operating procedure in your organization, that when an employee provides a request for FMLA, that's immediate. They don't come into work today, I need a FMLA leave. I'm asking for a qualifying event. And then they are sent the medical stuff and they never provide it. That's unprotected leave, everybody. Do you have another policy that protected them? Maybe they had so much vacation time or sick time that when they took those 2 weeks, they simply got their accrued leave. So it looks like what they are being provided instead is paid time off with PTO, vacation, or sick leave. Now, if your employee is being provided paid time off with vacation, sick leave, or PTO as a result of an emergency FMLA request, because they didn't give you 30 days notice, that's why they were off work immediately and you're getting their certificate, and then they don't provide the certificate, did they not just violate your vacation, PTO, or sick leave policy? So they haven't violated FMLA. There is no violation of FMLA for not providing a medical certificate. What they're going to be violating instead is your company policy for attendance, for requesting sick leave, for requesting PTO, for requesting vacation, because that's how they're being protected right now, because they weren't eligible for FMLA. Now let's take the next what if of this scenario, because we don't know, whoever provided this scenario did not let us know if this employee was being paid sick leave during this time and had in fact had sick leave. So they took emergency sick leave, or maybe it was for a personal reason. So they took vacation or PTO. But the underlying issue will be, which one of those were they eligible to take when they walked out the door? Or did they walk out with a FMLA request and didn't meet the eligibility criteria of your other vacation, PTO, or sick leave policy? Or let's go to the next step. They don't have any accrued vacation, PTO, or sick leave. And they were on an unpaid leave of absence with their job protected and their health care benefits protected because they requested FMLA. And then they didn't provide the FMLA certificate, so they weren't eligible. And now they've made a strategy out of this because it looks like they're getting 2 weeks off every time they do this. So now my underlying challenge is that acceptable? No, it is not. What policy are they violating? My guess is they're violating my PTO vacation or sick leave policy, the way that you requested, by the way, or they're violating our attendance policy because they are not at work and they don't have a valid reason to not be there that has been substantiated. That's a potentially terminable offense. You'll need to look at your PTO, your vacation, your sick leave, and when they run out of that, your attendance policy in terms of what they're expected to do. Because once they return to work without a certificate, how was that time protected? And this is the way we've always approached these regulations, everybody. Over 30 years ago, we started at this place. The regulation is very clear about your responsibilities, but it doesn't speak to the challenges of implementing these regulations with other multiple regulations that run concurrently, as well as your company policies and your union contracts. And then when there's clear anticipated abuse, now how do you manage that? And those are going to be standard operating procedures that you can consistently implement every time the same similarly situated issue occurs, so that you can show that you reacted in a non-discriminatory way, because this is your standard operating procedure. So for more information on challenges like this, join us at the Ultimate Guide. We'll be in Chicago in October. Best of luck, everybody. Let us help you become the expert.